What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? I know everyone is having a legendary day. We're here, baby. It's official. We finally made it. It's football day. Oh man. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for some Niner football. Uh of course, we're gonna go ahead and get you ready for Niners Bears today. But before we do all that, of course, you know what we got to do. Hold on. I'm just sharing it on Facebook. Um, let's see. It's football day. Make sure you save 10% by using the code Bear Meat. Get your End the Quest for 6 t-shirts. Link will be in the description of the show. Please support for the faithful by the faithful. Of course, you can help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our shop49ers.com affiliate link and save 10%. Go to sheetgiant.com, use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your concert, theater, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe to see everywhere you can subscribe to the show, and follow us on social media at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr, and at Niner Faithful R on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's get the show cracking. All right, so we got a bunch of different little things that we got going on for pregame live this week, including, of course, including bringing back this date in Niner history. We got a little bit of a segment for that, but we've got to start out today's show with horrible news. It is official. George Kittle will miss the game today. He is inactive with his hamstring injury. I mean, I know everybody's going to be like, we don't need him. We don't need him. We don't need him today. But when you're starting off the season without one of your best players on offense, and we all expect the offense to already start out slow as it is, it's rainy in Chicago. Apparently, it's pouring rain there. So it's going to be a game we run the football, and we're missing probably our second best run blocker next to Trent Williams. That's not a good sign. As a faithful, we don't have to look back too far to know. Well, actually, it's probably a decent amount of time. But look at 2015 and 2016. Tom Sula and Chip Kelly's first games as head coach. Especially Chip Kelly's. We blew out the Yams 28-0. And we literally didn't win another game until Christmas. So we were clearly a bad football team. But fluke things happen week one. Then you have the elements in the rain. You know what? We're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and play a clip of both D'Amico Ryans and Kyle Shanahan talking about the weather.
Not much we can do. Guys just have to make sure they have with the inclement weather. Guys just have to make sure they have the proper cleats, and our equipment staff they're great. They'll make sure our guys have the proper footwear to make sure we can run and not be worried about slipping or footing or anything of that nature. Guys just need to worry about having the right equipment to go play fast and not worry about the weather. Not much we can do. Guys just have to make sure they have with the inclement.
I guess that Kyle Shanahan clip isn't playing. Um, man, that sucks. Um, so yeah. Oh well, we also got a clip of Kyle talk about tight end depth of now that George Kittle can't go. Okay, I guess none of the Kyle clips are working.
Well, you know.
Okay, so my bad. Like half our clips aren't working. Great way to start off the season. Um. Anyway, so it's not great when your best run blocker is in there, and we're obviously going to have bad weather. Now, as you heard D'Amico Ryan say right there, nothing you can do about it, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to be a factor. Kyle went ahead, and you can check out the press conference on Friday, but he pretty much said that, you know, I don't know if it's going to help us or hurt us. We'll see. You never quite know how your team's going to handle rain until you get into a rain game. So obviously, we'll see how it plays out. As we go into our team comparison, right here. So we got a little few notes that I think are pretty cool before we get into the team comparisons. The Niners have 18 wins on the road, a 720 win percentage since 2019. It's the third best in the NFL. The Niners, of course, are 35-32-1 versus Chicago, but only 6-7 at Soldier Field. And this is the first time in team history we open at Soldier Field week 1. And we'll go ahead and give you the full inactive list right now. Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Daniel Brunskill, Nick Sakel, Ty Davis Price, Danny Gray, and Jordan Willis. So that means that the running backs up today will be Jordan Mason. There was actually a clip of Kyle talking about Jordan Mason versus Ty Davis Price that unfortunately I wasn't able to get working. So that kind of took a little bit of the zip out of the pregame show. But our team comparisons, I mean, last year the Bears defense was awful. They have opponents' points per game were 23.9, ranked 21st. We got 24 points exactly, ranked 15th in the league. Their opposing yards per game were 5th, so that wasn't too bad. 316.7 yards per game. We were 11th with 361.10 yards per game. They weren't that bad. So I said with the Bears defense was awful. The pass defense was awful. Opponents yards per play was 5.3, ranked 15th. We were second in the NFL with 6 yards per play. And this to me is one of the biggest stats of the game. Is third down conversions. The Niners were 14th last year with 40.9 conversion percent, and the Bears allowed 38.39% for 11th in the league. The third down is a huge stat. We all know this. Um, I'm curious to see because Jimmy was money on third down. We all know this. And so the Niners' whole offense was get a huge amount of plays on first down. Second down, we wanted to obviously get more yards, but that was making a third and manageable. And because we're elite on first down, I actually will have to look at the prospects there for next week to exactly show how everybody exactly how elite we were on first down. But maybe I'll do that during the Twitch commercial. But and then Jimmy would convert on third down. As we transition to Trey, that'd be something I would be curious to see if it continues, or is that an area that Trey struggles? Because if we can't stay on the field, it's just going to be a cascading effect. We saw that earlier in the year last year. So really continue to breaking down offensively, red zone score percent touchdown. So how what the percentage you score touchdowns in the red zone? We were 64.1% last year, fourth in the NFL. The Bears allowed 55.56%, 14th in the NFL. So a little bit better than average. Another thing that I'm curious to see, but I think will be a smoother transition than maybe managing third downs for Trey is red zone, because Jimmy got the ball the job done in the red zone. And I think that the element of Trey as a running threat, as we saw last year, a lot of his plays were in the red zone. The running threat of Trey is going to open up things in the passing game, the running game, and I think that's where we're really going to have a nice, smooth transition is in the red zone, as long as Trey doesn't, turn the ball over. Touchdowns per game, we were 2.8, ranked literally middle of the league at 16th. And the Bears allowed exactly 2.8. We're ranking 22nd on defense. So we're going to have about 2-3 touchdowns, I would think, this game. Another little cool note, the Niners are 22-3 when allowing 17 points or fewer under Kyle Shanahan. So that's a little tidbit to keep in mind when I give my final score prediction. For those who watched Tuesday's show, I went ahead and teased it. Okay, right here. Where is it? Yards per play, touchdowns per game. Okay, rushing yards per rush, 4.3. We ranked 19th in the NFL. The Bears allowed 4.4 to rank 19th. That is a number that needs to improve this year, considering how much we want to run the football. And I think that led to a lot of our struggles early last year in offensively was because we couldn't run the ball. So going deeper into the rush, yards per game, 124.6, ranked 7th in the NFL. The Bears allowed 125.1 or 0.10. Yards per game, ranked 22nd. So that I think is going to favor us a little bit as long as the field holds up. They resodded it Monday, added new grass and everything, but obviously probably not going to take hold. So that's going to be a little bit of a concern. Rushing touchdowns per game, 1.2, ranked 7th for us, and they allowed 0.8, ranked 12th. So might be a little bit of a struggle to run the ball in, at least. Now, I didn't break too much down of the Niners passing offense last year because of the transition of quarterbacks, but this is something that I found very interesting. Chicago's pass defense allowed a completion percentage of 65.83% to rank 21st in the NFL. Their opposing yards pass were 6.8 to rank 22nd in the NFL. Or sorry, they were ranked 21st in completion percentage. Opposing passing yards per game, 191.6. So they ranked second, but I think that had to do with more of teams not running the ball against them. And opponent interception percentage thrown, 1.68 to rank 26th. They have the number one sack percentage, 9.32%. And they ranked 32nd in quarterback rating and 26th in yards per attempt. Niners field goal percentage, we were 13th at 86.84, and the Bears allowed 90% conversion rate on field goals. So I think that 9.32 sack percentage is a little bit concerning, and it'll get into my one of my top matchup of the game. But that is a little bit of a concern, but Trey can get away, and we saw him in the preseason maneuver in the pocket very well. So of course it's good. I mean, they got Robert Quinn. He's going to get his. Trey's, well, Jimmy didn't get sacked last year in last year's game. So Trey's going to get pressure. I just think that it's going to not be as big of a concern because of Trey's mobility. Okay, breaking down Chicago's offense versus our defense. Chicago had 18.3 points per game last year, ranked 22nd. We allowed 20.6 to rank 5th in the NFL. So that goes back to my allowing 17 points or fewer. We literally allowed them slightly less than their league average last year, and we got a huge chance of winning. Yards per game, the Bears were 307.4 to rank 24th. We allowed 311.8 to rank 4th in the league. Yards per play, they were 4.9 to rank 27th. We allowed 5.1 to rank 4th. Third down percentage, they were literally dead last at 34.72%. We were pretty bad last year at 41.29, ranked 21st. There's red zone scoring percentage, touchdown percentage was 47.92 to rank 30th. Our red zone touchdown percentage allowed was 54.29 to rank 13th. To break down some things that we saw last year before I get into what really I think is going to determine this game. But the Niners were bad at getting off the field last year at third down. We saw it in the Tennessee game, and we definitely saw it in the NFC Championship game last year. That is a concern moving forward within the year. But here in week one, I mean, they literally were dead last on third down percentage. So if Justin Fields does not improve on that, I don't really think that I don't want to say they don't stand a chance in this game, but that to me is going to be one of the biggest deciding factors of the game. Like I said earlier, is third down. If we can stay on the field on third down, they can't convert third downs. That's ball game. I love the Niners' chances if we can convert on third down, and they can't. If we could hold them to 35% conversion rate or 33, so they get one out of every three, I love the Niners' chance in this game. And on the opposite, we could do 2 out of every 3 on offense. That's Niners' victory, in my opinion. Okay, their touchdowns per game, 1.9, ranked 27th. Ours allowed was 2.4, ranked 10th. Going back to allowing 17 points or fewer. And this is the stat that I really think, besides third down, that I think will really, really, really point to a Niners victory is the Bears gave up the most sacks in 2021, and the Niners sack percentage was 8.3, ranked third in the NFL. That right there, to me, spells a Niners victory. You have Nick Bosa going up against a rookie tackle. Now, sure, he could hold his own and he could be, Trent Williams for all we know. He's not going to be. But I like Nick Bosa, who, for those who watch Tuesday's show, y'all know I picked for team MVP. And I think we'll push for Defensive Player of the Year this year. And I think we'll definitely threaten Alden Smith's team record, maybe even threaten the all-time sack record this year. I think Nick Bosa is going to have a monster game, and I think it's going to start today. I think this is going to be a very welcome to the NFL moment for the Bears left tackle. Okay, getting to their rush offense. Now, these numbers are skewed, in my opinion, because of how much they were behind last year. But their average yards per rush were 4.2, ranked 20th. We allowed 3.9, ranked 5th. Their rushing yards per game were 118th, ranked 15th. Ours allowed were 98.7, ranked 6th. Their rush touchdowns per game were 0.8, ranked 17th, and we allowed run rush touchdown per game, ranked 22nd. Completion percentage for the Bears was 61.25, ranked 27th. We allowed 67.42, ranked 28th. Yards per pass, 5.9. For them, ranked 27th. And yards per pass, we ranked 6.4 at 11th. Yards per game, 188.6. They ranked 30th in that, or passing yards per game. And opposing passing yards per game, we allowed 213.1 or 0.10, ranked 7th. Justin Fields was literally had the highest interception percentage in the NFL last year at 3.69. Our opponents only had a 1.66 interception rating, ranked 28th. He had a sack percentage of 9.67, literally ranked last. And we had an 8.3 sack percentage, ranked third. They converted 86.67% of their field goals, 15th. And we allowed 75.76, ranked third in the NFL. So we all know Justin Fields really, I don't feel, hurt us last year throwing the ball. Matter of fact, I have his final stat line right here from last year. He was 19 of 27 for 175 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. I would take that all day. Where he killed us and they almost won the game was his 10 carries for 103 yards and a touchdown, and his touchdown was a thing of beauty. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in my keys to victory. Why don't we, before we get our matchup to watch, a player to watch, keys to victory, and getting into this date in Niner history, why don't we go ahead and take our Twitch commercial right now. Wait, it's got to load. Right now. Okay, and while we're doing that, those who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, we'll go ahead and I'll give you a little bit of a cool little stat that will be exclusive to this. What's that? Okay, cool. Sorry, this state Niner history is a little pretty cool. Mike Nolan's first game as head coach, which we beat the Yams, which I remember me and my foster brothers threw a huge barbecue for that one. And Jim Harbaugh's first game as a Niner coach. So obviously really, really, really excited for that. I'm just going to go ahead and go into getting some things ready for the rest of the show. Let me see. Okay, I already got that ready. Okay. You know what? I'll give you a little bit of honorable mention matchup to watch real quick. We got 41 seconds. CJ Jarvarius Ward versus Darnell Mooney. Ward has 2 interceptions, a 77 quarterback rating. E-Man had interception and a quarterback rating of 50, or a quarterback completion percentage of 57.4 last year. Mooney had 81 receptions, 1,055 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's going to be a little sneak peek of that. And their free safety last year was garbage. He allowed, all right, hold on. That's actually going to go in here. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Should be back from our Twitch commercial. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're back. So we're going to go ahead and get into our matchup to watch, and that is Mike McGlinchey versus Robert Quinn and Travis Gibson. Robert Quinn had 18.5 sacks last year, 22 quarterback hits, and forced fumbles. And last year he had a quarterback hit against Jimmy. And Travis Gibson in 2021 had 7 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, and 7 tackles for loss. That is definitely going to be a big matchup to watch. We didn't see Mike McGlinchey really. We saw him for 8 plays against Green Bay. So Mike McGlinchey has played a total of 8 snaps since last year, since he got hurt last year. That is, for the most optimistic Niner fan, it has to be at least a question mark. That is probably the matchup that might determine the game. That's why I picked it as my biggest matchup to watch, because it's going to determine what we can do offensively, especially without George Kittle in the game. My player to watch is going to be, at first I wanted to say Brandon Ayuk, but I thought that they would really focus the coverage on Debo. And Jalen Johnson, their best corner, had a QBR allowed of 109 or 101.9 last year. Only had 1 pick, but allowed 5 touchdowns. And the free safety, Eddie Jackson, had a QBR allowed of 143.6 and 6 touchdowns allowed. Last year against the Bears, Debo had 6 receptions for 171 yards on 9 targets and a long of 83. Debo went beastly last year. So obviously they're going to focus a lot of their coverage on Debo, but I think there's a chance that it very well might not matter. Okay, we're going to get now into our keys to victory. Or you know what? Let's go ahead and get into this date in Niner history. September 11th, 2005, the Niners opened up a home against the St. Louis Yams. It was Mike Nolan's first game. It was actually a back and forth battle. It was really really a big battle, but ultimately was sealed when Mark Bulger's pass intended for Isaac Bruce was intercepted by Mike Adams to seal the 28-25 Niner victories. We got some big names for the Yams that played in this game. But first, Tim Rattay, 11-16 for 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, 141.9 QBR. Arna's battle, there's a name for Niners history, was 2 for 2 for 27 yards and had a rushing attempt for -3 yards. The leading rusher in this game was Kevin Barlow, 14 carries for 22 yards and 2 receptions for 17 yards. But a rookie by the name of Frank Gore, literally the man who played more games at running back than anybody in NFL history, played his first game and had 4 rushes for 17 yards and had 2 catches on 2 targets for 21 yards, but didn't score any touchdowns. Defensively, Bryant Young played in that game, had 4 tackles, all solo, at 3 tackles for loss. Just BY doing his thing. Andre Carter, Ahmad Plummer. I used to have his jersey. They don't have what he gave up. Tony Parrish, Jeff Olbrecht, San Ho native, Jamie Winborn. I have him on Facebook. Shante Spencer. Man, we're going with Isaac Sopowaga. Dwayne Carter. Man, we're going right back in Niner history here. But Brandon Lloyd went off. I know in this game, Brandon Lloyd was such a good receiver. He had 5 receptions for 5 targets for 3 receptions, 65 yards, and a touchdown. Arnaz Battle also had 5 for 59 and a touchdown. Who scored all the other touchdowns? Kevin Barlow had a touchdown rushing. There you go. Okay, that's how he scored it. So for the Yams, Steven Jackson had 19 carries for 60 yards. Marshall Faulk played in this game, only had 3 rushes for 12 yards. Torrey Holt, 16 targets, 10 receptions, 125 yards, but no touchdowns. Isaac Bruce, 6 targets, 3 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. But yeah, the main one we wanted to get into was a 33-17 victory in Jim Harbaugh's first game as Niner coach. We had 3 David Akers field goal, a 1-yard rush by Alex Smith, 4 David Aker field goals, and 2 kickoff returns by Tengen, 1 touchdown, 1 punt. That is the last punt returned by a Niner. It was a back and forth game up until the 4th quarter, but Ted Ginn's 2 fourth quarter special teams touchdowns sealed the Niners' victory. And Jim Harbaugh started his Niner career 1-0. All right, before we get out of here, we're going to go ahead and do final score, our keys to victory, and then I'll give you my final score predictions. Key to victory, number one, get off the field on third down. The Niners were 21st in the NFL last year, allowing 29% third down percentage. And we saw last year a few times that the D got gassed by the end of the game. Now, some of that does come from not staying on the field on O. But any great defensive player will tell you it doesn't matter what the O is doing. Their job is to get off the field and give the ball back to the offense. And especially with the young quarterback that is going to have some growing pains this year, it'll be way more important this year. Luckily, of course, the Bears were the worst on third down conversions percentage, so that probably works in our favor. Second key to victory, contain Justin Fields. The Niners historically under Shanahan have had trouble with more mobile quarterbacks. We can't have Justin Fields going off for 103 yards and the touchdowns. And last year he had 5 yards per carry, 420 yards, and 2 touchdowns. One of us came away. If that happens, this won't be as easy a victory as everybody in the Empire thinks it will be. The two, to me, biggest keys of victory, and that regardless of even if we do those first two on third downs, if we do these things, we will not win today. And that is we cannot beat ourselves. We're a way better football team than the Bears, hands down. But any given Sunday, anybody could beat anybody, especially week one, and with a new coach with the Bears. And the main way that the upsets happen in the NFL is the better team beats themselves. And we did that way too many times last year. The Niners had 0.5 penalties per play, ranked 24th, 6.1 penalties per game, ranked 17th. Penalty yards per game was 60.9, ranked 29th, and penalty yards per penalty at 10, ranked last. Luckily, the Bears have been just as and with takeaways, it was horrible. Where's the takeaway percentage? We turned the ball over. Luckily, the Bears did not take the ball away. There were 0.9 turnovers per game, ranked last. Interception percentage thrown was 26th. Way too many flags or turnovers are going to lead to an L. The Niners didn't really take the ball away like they needed to last year. So take away the football is my last key to victory. We had 1.2 takeaways per game. We had an opponent interception percentage of 1.66, ranked 28th. But the Bears were just as bad. Their turnover margin was negative per game, was negative 0.8, ranked 29th. And giveaways per game were 1.7, also ranked 29th. And they had Justin Fields had a 3.69% interception percentage. But with the investment the Niners made in the secondary and the 7 turnovers we saw in the preseason and the Bears turning over so much last year and the rain conditions, I think this one should turn around and we should see definitely a Niners victory. Finally, it's time to give my final score prediction. And I'm going to say 24-10 Niners. I think 24-10 Niners. Hold on, score. ORE prediction. I'm going to say, 24-10 Niners. I think we're able to run the ball today, and I think that we're going to be able to walk away. I think it'll be a close ball game in the first half, but I think as we wear the Bears down with our run game and our physicality, that the better team will win it, and we'll pull away at the end. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it. It's football day. Make sure you tune in to halftime for Jason's going to go live to give you your halftime update. And Jamie will be alive tonight at 9 p.m. here on the West Coast for Niner Faithful Radio post game. And Jason and I will, of course, break down the game ourselves on Tuesday at Niner Faithful Radio review. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Oh, yeah, obviously, before we get out of here, again, it's football day. Save 10% with the book code Bear Meat. Visit NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop. Help out Niner Faithful Radio by using our affiliate link at shop49ers.com. Link will be in the description of the video. And also go to SeatGiant.com. Use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all your theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. Subscribe at NinerFaithfulRadio.com/subscribe. Follow us on social media on at Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr, and at Niner Faithful R on Twitter. I still see y'all Tuesday. Make sure to tune on the halftime show and the post-game show. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners! Let's get this dub, baby. Yay!